Bolyán Anita, identifying Vidhar Orestes, Akhilleus Baldur Soslan, Caucasus Nart, Lady of the Lake, Thetis, Satana, Ancient Female Blacksmiths, 2026. Abstract. The paper contains 5 chapters and 4 appendices. This paper is dedicated to my grandmother, Bolyán Gaborn, New Carrick's Jolan. 1917–1987. My grandmother, Bolyán Gaborn, had a very special life. She was born in a world where a girl could be only a mother or a nun. Male and female worlds were divided. However, when she became an adult, after 1945, she had the chance to become a blacksmith, the same job as my grandfather had had before because of the strange Katar propaganda. They almost divorced with my grandfather, but their children had already grown up, so my grandmother had the time to become a smith, then a legal observer, a special job in Hungary. This paper explores the multifaceted nature of female roles through a diachronic lens, bridging the personal history of Bolyán Gaborn, 1917–1987, with the mythological and archaeological archetypes of the female smith. The study argues that the transition of Bolyán Gaborn from a traditional domestic role in the early 20th century to a heavy industrial blacksmith and later a lay judicial assessor, lay judge, during the Katar era reflects an ancient, suppressed tradition of female craftsmanship. By synthesizing Ossetian, Nart, sagas, Homeric epics, and Arthurian legends, I propose that the figure of Achilles is synonymous with the hero Soslan, who, after the fall of Troy, integrated into the Amazonian cultures of the Caucasus. This connection is supported by the Lady of the Lake and Thetis Satana motifs, suggesting that metallurgy and armor-making were originally female-dominated or co-gendered skills linked to aquatic environments. The paper further examines the genetic and cultural transmission of the Trojan mythos from Phrygian Armenian lineages to the Ugric-Mycenaean connection, concluding that the oral tradition simplified complex historical migrations into singular heroic narratives. The Amazonian Anvil, from Mycenaean steppes to the industrial matriarch. A study on Soslan Achilles syncretism and the female smith archetype. Chapter 1, The Personal as Historical Archetype. The life of Bolyán Gaborn, 1917–1987, serves as a modern microcosm of ancient shifts. Born into a traditional Christian framework where the male was the sole breadwinner, her transition post-1945 into the masculine domain of blacksmithing and reinforced concrete production mirrored a return to an older social order. Her subsequent role as a lay judge in divorce courts, acting as a non-jurist observer ensuring procedural integrity, parallels the ancient role of the community elder or mediator. Her ability to master the forge alongside her husband demonstrates that the gendered division of labor in metallurgy is a relatively recent construct. Chapter 2, Soslan, Achilles, and the Amazonian Forge. The mythological Lady of the Lake, or the mother of Soslan, Satana, represents the essential role of water in the cooling process of blacksmithing. Archaeological and mythological traces suggest that the Cyclopes' successors included female warriors and builders. The Kybe stone and the birth of Soslan from a fiery stone are poetic metaphors for metallurgical creation. I propose that Achilles did not merely fight the Amazons. After the burning of Troy, the stone, his mother, Thetis, Satana, relocated him to the Caucasus. Here, the Nart sagas preserve a version of the hero who lived among and was forged by female smiths. The Greek accounts likely truncated this long-term coexistence into a single battle. Chapter 3, The Sword in the Stone and the Trojan Diffusion. The Arthurian legend of pulling the sword from the stone or receiving Excalibur from a female hand is a Christianized remnant of the female smith tradition. This narrative likely traveled via Viking or French, Melusinian, intermediaries, carrying the Trojan legacy to northern Europe. Furthermore, the Trojan War itself was a composite of at least 2 sieges, a Phrygian conflict, c. 1200 BCE, and a later Lydian campaign, post 900 BCE. The Hellenistic era, particularly under Alexander the Great's influence, blurred these timelines to enhance royal prestige, merging the Phrygian and Lydian myths into the singular Homeric narrative. Chapter 4, The King of Troy and the Mythological Distortion. The oral tradition frequently conflates Priam and Agamemnon as the king of Troy. This confusion explains the narrative overlap where Paris kills Baldur, who becomes an Achilles figure in northern variations. By identifying Achilles not as the son of a Greek king, but as a scion of the stone, Troy, and the Amazonian Caucasus, we can decode the killing of the wolf. This act, attributed to Vidhar or Orestes, represents the generational conflict resulting from the distorted memory of Achilles' Amazonian period and his mother's true identity as a master smith. Chapter 5. How Orestes is Vidhar against Fenrir, the two Trojan kings. The Chronicle of the Great Wolf, a synthesis of myth. I. The architecture of fate, the second Odin, Agamemnon, and the new Troy. In the aftermath of the Great War, the landscape of power shifts from the fallen towers of Ilion to the construction of a new order. Just as the Prose Edda depicts Odin's relentless drive to fortify the realms against chaos, historical myth suggests a synchronization with the post-war reign of Agamemnon. Having claimed the throne of Troy by right of conquest, the new ruler employs the Cyclopean builders, beings of immense strength identified in northern lore as giants to restore the citadel. Among these architects of the new age is Odysseus, a figure of cunning whose craftsmanship bridges the gap between the Mediterranean sun and the looming shadows of the north. 2. The scion of Achilles, Neoptolemus as Fenrir. The figure of Fenrir, the unbound wolf of the Edda, finds its mortal mirror in Neoptolemus, the son of Achilles. Upon settling in the rugged, alpine-like climates near Dodona, his lineage adopted the ferocity of the terrain. Unlike the serpent's cryptic oracles of the tropical Mediterranean, such as the Pythian priestesses of Delphi, Neoptolemus represents the predatory chill of the north. This oral condensation transforms the conqueror into the great wolf, a beast destined to consume the old order. 3. The fall of the High King. The climax of this shared tragedy begins with the death of the patriarch. In the Hellenic tradition, Neoptolemus shows no mercy to the aged king Priam, an act that mirrors the inevitable consumption of Odin by Fenrir at Ragnarok. The death of Priam, Virgil, Aeneid. He Neoptolemus dragged him to the very altar stone, trembling and sliding in the pool of his son's blood, and buried the sword to the hilt in his side. Such was the end of Priam's fates. The fall of Odin, Voluspa the wolf shall swallow Odin, this shall be his death. But immediately after, Vidhar shall come forward and step with one foot on the lower jaw of the wolf. 4. The vengeance of the silent sun. As Vidhar was destined to avenge Odin, so does the cycle of blood continue in the house of Atreus. Orestes, the son of Agamemnon and the legal heir to the post-war Trojan legacy, rises as the analogue to Vidhar. To rectify the crimes of Neoptolemus and settle the debts of his lineage, Orestes tracks the wolf to Delphi. In this oral shortening of history, the cosmic battle of Ragnarok becomes a focused, mortal vendetta where the son of the new king strikes down the slayer of the old. V. The silencing of the beast. The death of Fenrir is not merely an end, but a restoration of balance. By tearing the jaws of the wolf, Vidhar by extension, Orestes shouts the cycle of consumption. The serpent, the oracular python, and the wolf, the northern conqueror, are both subdued by the shifting tides of human and divine law. The death of Fenrir, Prose Edda. With one hand he Vidhar shall seize the wolf's upper jaw and tear his gullet asunder, and that shall be the wolf's death. In the death of Neoptolemus at the hands of Orestes, the mythic wolf of Alexander the Great's ancestry is finally brought to heel, merging the icy fate of the north with the blood-stained altars of the south. Summary and conclusion. The syncretism of Achilles and Soslan suggests that the Trojan mythos is a widespread Eurasian heritage. The Phrygian-Armenian genetic link and the presence of Mycenaean steppe markers among Ugric populations suggest that the Finnish Kalevala and the legends of Dodona's oak cults are distant echoes of the same Mediterranean steppe exchange. Appendices. Appendix 1, the Phrygian-Armenian genetic connection. Modern genetic studies confirm that the Phrygians were instrumental in the formation of the Armenian state. Approximately 30 of the contemporary Armenian gene pool carries Phrygian markers, validating the historical migration from the Balkans Anatolia toward the Caucasus. Hovhannisyan et al., 2020. Appendix 2, Cretan markers in Ugric populations. Genetic research has identified Minoan Cretan DNA signatures within certain Ugric-speaking groups. This suggests a direct or indirect contact between the Mycenaean world and the northern forest steppe zones, allowing for the transmission of Mediterranean epic cycles into Uralic folklore. Appendix 3, Mycenaean tombs and steppe nomadic admixture. Analysis of Mycenaean royal tombs reveals a significant mixture of local Cretan, Minoan, and intrusive steppe nomadic DNA. This warrior elite admixture explains how news of Mycenaean exploits reached the ancestors of the Finns, who also share genetic affinities with Franco-Spanish populations, potentially linking the cult of the oak at Dodona with Northern European traditions. Lazaridis et al., 2017. Appendix 4. Soslan, i.e. Achilles, both in Caucasus and in Hungarian, minority, Jas, tradition. Achilles is the source of the hero, Soslan in the Nart sagas. Both the Ossetian Nart sagas and Homer's Odyssey explore a reversed reality of the underworld, where the hierarchies of the living world are fundamentally upended. In the Odyssey, Odysseus encounters the shade of Achilles in the land of the dead. Achilles famously rejects the glory of his past, expressing a desire for the lowliest life over the highest status in death. He tells Odysseus, "I would rather be a paid servant in a poor man's house and be above ground than king of kings among the dead." Homer, The Odyssey, Book 11. Similarly, the Nart hero Soslan, or Sosruko, visits the underworld and witnesses a paradoxical moral economy. He observes that those who were greedy or unjustly wealthy on earth suffer deprivation, while the generous poor thrive. This mirrors the inverted view where earthly values are flipped. In the Nart cycles, Soslan describes the sights of the land of the dead. "I saw the rich who had been stingy on earth, and their mouths were filled with hot embers. I saw the poor who had been generous, and they sat at tables laden with food, looking fat and well fed." The Nart sagas, the journey of Soslan to the land of the dead. Both narratives serve as a reversed mirror, suggesting that true value lies in earthly vitality and moral conduct rather than the hollow prestige of the afterlife. In the Nart sagas, Soslan, known as Sosryko in some traditions, is a central heroic figure born from a stone. His miraculous birth occurred when a shepherd's desire was cast upon a rock, which was later opened by the smith god Kurtalagan to reveal the infant Soslan. The legend of Soslan. To make himself invincible, Soslan requested to be tempered in the milk of 100 wolves. However, due to the trickery of the smith or a shortage of milk, his knees remained exposed and untempered, creating a singular point of vulnerability, similar to the heel of Achilles. His life was defined by epic quests and a relentless pursuit of glory. He famously defeated giants and outwitted his own brothers, often aided by his wise mother figure, Shatana. One of his most significant myths involves his journey to the land of the dead to seek the hand of a bride, where he navigated various supernatural trials. Soslan's end was tragic. His enemies discovered his weakness and used a sentient, serrated wheel, the Balsag wheel, to strike him across his vulnerable knees, leading to his death. He remains a symbol of both supernatural strength and the inescapable nature of fate. Sources and references. The following sources include academic works on Nart mythology and specific Hungarian connections via the Jas, Alani, heritage in Jasperany. 1a Nartok, Kaukasusisreg, the Narts, Caucasian heroic epics. This is the primary Hungarian translation and analysis of the Nart cycle, providing the foundational myths of Soslan. 2 Jasperany I Jas Museum Archivoma. The Jas Museum in Jasperany holds significant research regarding the Alani-Ossetian Jas connection, linking Soslan's legends to the ancestral heritage of the Jas people in Hungary. 3 Selmachi Laszlo, a Jasic, a comprehensive historical work that discusses the Iranian-speaking Jas origins, their migration to the Carpathian Basin, and the preservation of their North Caucasian cultural roots. 4 Dumazil, Georges, Myth et Epopee. While a French scholar, his comparative studies are the gold standard for understanding Soslan and are frequently cited by Hungarian historians in Jasperany to explain Jas ethnogenesis. 5 Pap Arpad, Caucazuzi Nepkaltezet, a collection of Caucasian folk poetry and legends that includes specific variants of the Soslan mythos relevant to the Alanic descendants. References: 1 Hovhannisyan, A. ETAL, 2020. An admixture signal in Armenians around the time of the Bronze Age collapse. European Journal of Human Genetics. 2 Lazaridis, I. ETAL, 2017. Genetic Origins of the Minoans and Mycenaeans. Nature, 548, 7666, 214-218. 3 Dumazil, G. 1930. Legends sur les Narts. Paris, Honor Champion. Regarding the Soslan Achilles parallels. 4 Mallory, J.P., Adams, D.Q., 2006. The Oxford Introduction to Proto-Indo-European and the Proto-Indo-European World. Oxford University Press. 5 Graves, R. 1955. The Greek Myths. Penguin Books. Regarding the Amazonian blacksmith connections. 6 Abiv, V.I., 1949. The Nart Sagas of the Ossetians. Ville de Kafkaz. 7 Bolyán Anita, Papers, www.academia.edu. 8. Finnish, Western Relations. 8 A Finec Europae Geneticae Oroxage, Spaniol es Franca Vonal. Acuditasak Ravila Jatatak, Hagi Amifin Le Cossack Geneticae Alemanianak Nagiris Ajeggerzakutani Ujarain Psols Soren Erxat Europa Deli es Nugati Turltirl. A Peltonen es Munkatarsai, 1999 Azeg Ttr Tanolmani, Emily Kimutata, Hagi Afinek Geneticae Lagrend Kivol Homogenek, es a Mitochondrialis DNS UK, Nyag, Nagi Ries Mejegizikata by Europae Evil, Nem Pedig Az Azianapek Evil. B Torin IETAL, 199820001AH Haplok Support Viscalata Soren Megalapatate, Hagi Ez Nya Evonal, Emily Spanulars Igies Francia Orzig Derulton, a Franco Cantabriaman Dekilian, Vezelt Atajeggerzakot, a Finekban is dominans. Ez Kodi os Zafinikit a Nugat Europae Geneticae Gyokarekal. Silau ETAL, 2008 EGY at Fago Europae Geneticae Terkep Elkasitsker Kimutat Take, Hagi a Finekogyan Elkulonolnek EGY Sagitos Zajidan a Geneticae Turkten, de Alap Vetan Az Europae, Nugati, Klaster Rize, Ellen Tetbana Samojd Vegi Urali Nielv Kalitik Support Tokal. D Hawk ETAL, 2015 Ez a Monumentalis Tanolmani Bazoniatata B, Hagi a Finek, Es a Legdab Europae, Geneticae Alap J Harem Forisbal Sarmaznak, a Helai Vada Sojij Gent Blue, a Kausal Kaliti Flodm Vesek Blue Es as Di Pi Paz Torok Bal, Yamnakultura. Ez a Kevrids Tet a Finikit Geneticae Lagnugat Europaiva. 9. Crete and Ugric Relations. A Hui ETAL, 2013 Ez a Cuditasacreti Lazithifensik and Talalt Minazik St Murad Vanyakit Viskalta. Megalapatate, Hagi a Minaziak Nyai Agon Nem Esakafrakabal, Hanam Europabal Sarmastok. Acuditas Soren Talaltake Olyan Mitochondrialis DNS EGZsket, Amliek Malejing Cab Az Esakurape Es Bazonios Finigor, Urali, Nepesajekban Fordolnik L. B. Paula ETAL, 2012 AU5B3 Al Support Vandor Lasat Turk Paytek Fel. Ez a Gen Valtizat a Jeggerzakuten del Europabel, Peldowel Az Olaz Es Gorog Flozajit Krol, Beliert Vafold Kozatentry Turs Jet, Vanderold Esakra. Ez a Tanolmani Ramutat, Hagi Az Urali Napeknek, Peldowel a Samanak Es Fineknek, Van Egi Jelent Steli, Mediterran Aridet Geneticae Retej. C. Tumbets ETAL, 2004 A Finigor Napek Geneticae Os Zatetelit Viskalva Lirtik Az Europae Vada Sojijtgit Enya Evonalak, U5, V. Jelen Litet, Amliek Os Zekatik Scandinaviat Es a Bulti Regit Adeli Mendekter Rulatekal, Beliert Vakritai Vonalas Hasen Lo C Europae Mintakate.